BPI Sports has always been a massive supporter of natural bodybuilding, so it only made sense for us and them to partner up. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by BPI Sports, and if you want to support them and us, use code Natty News Daily at checkout for some exclusive discounts off any of your orders. Enjoy the episode. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily. We are joined today by the squad from WNBF, Bob and Tina. Welcome to the podcast, team.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us. Appreciate the support.
Oh, I'm glad we could do this. Looks very beautiful in your backyard there. Kind of jealous.
It's warm today, but it's nice.
Excellent.
Get outside. Yeah.
So, Bob and Tina are going to kind of take the floor on this one. We're going to touch on some cool stuff, talk about the Muscle Mayhem going down next weekend, which is always one of the bigger shows that, especially in the U.S., that the WNBF hosts. So, Bob, take it away, man. Tell us some cool things.
I'm going to kind of let Tina talk a little bit. I just
Tina gets the floor.
Yeah, she missed the last one, but yeah, we just wanted to talk about our event that's coming up. We're super excited to be doing it. We missed a couple of years there as a lot of people did. But yeah, this is year 20.
This is 24 minus 2.
Yeah. So
yeah.
We're going to stick with the 24.
Yeah.
It's too hard to explain.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you guys want to know about how we got involved promoting? I mean, how far back do you guys want to go?
I guess I'm curious, like how the Mayhem started, because obviously it's one of the big shows, right? So where did that kind of culminate from?
Well, I competed first in 1996, NPC shows, bodybuilder. I'm small. It wasn't very fun pretty quickly. And so then we found some natural federations to compete with. I won a WNBF pro card. It was through the NGA at that time. That's who the amateur affiliate was. And he was getting ready to compete, got off football, realized you got to wear the shorts, you got to shave, and enough peer pressure.
Going to the trunks was a trip.
Which was not totally me, but a lot of peer pressure in the gym got him to compete. And it was then somewhere around 1997 that we started realizing that some shows were really bad. Like they were late, they had terrible trophies, they were disorganized. And in the old days of only bodybuilding, and you would go to prejudging and then you'd go sit and have coffee, maybe go to a movie before finals, because that was your day, right? You'd go back at 6:00. We were having coffee and we said, you know what, we could probably do this. Like, it's not rocket science. We could probably do this. So we talked to the only NGA promoter in California and decided to get on the bill for the following year. Kind of did some research. He was trying to win a pro card. So in 1998, he competed in New York and Arizona and a couple other places. And so we were taking notes of what worked and what didn't. And our biggest obstacle was just convincing people that it could be natural, that there was a polygraph involved and we had done it. It was really scary and it was real. And so we had lots of friends competing in the NPC. Some were not natural and some were. And they all supported us. We had a really cool gym that we were at, Gold's Gym here in Sacramento. And so there's a lot of camaraderie and we just decided to do it. And that first year, Jeff Alberts and his brother Paul walked in and they were like, wow, there's a lot of bodybuilders here. This is weird, because they had been competing in the NPC for a long time.
Never winning.
Yeah, lightweights. And so there was just immediately camaraderie, which was awesome. And so, it's just gone on. And if people don't know, we did switch organizations. There was a period of time that this is how the Mayhem was actually born. There was a lot of disgruntled WNBF athletes around the time that we had our twins, early 2000s, when they were not allowed to compete anywhere else and they weren't allowed to represent supplement companies or do other things. And so there was some upheaval with that. We were very distracted. We had 2 babies. Lane Norton led it, Nicole Weeks, some other people were like, let's do something else. And so that's where the OCB and the IFPA happened. And it was 2009. It was our biggest show ever. Our kids were 4. Moji finally won. Moji Alua finally won his pro card. Rodney kicked him down one year. Somebody else kicked him down another year. And it was it was sold out, standing room only. just bodybuilding and figure, obviously. And we opened a magazine a couple weeks later and realized that the leader of the WNBF had sanctioned another show in Sacramento. That's how we found out. And we had been with them for 10 years, both of us pro athletes, promoters, all kinds of things. And so that was a shock, and it was disturbing. And so we went to judge the Orton Cup is what happened. And it was, Cleveland Thomas versus Philip Ricardo. It was, just this whole other group of natural bodybuilders, Doug Miller, all kinds of, different names around there. And we were sitting in the airport having a drink on our way home and said, you know what, let's rebrand this. Let's do some other stuff.
We were the Capital City before that.
Right. So, it wasn't the Mayhem. It wasn't called that.
Yeah, it was called the Capital City.
Did a big training camp at Gold's Gym, had like 70 competitors, Dr. Joe, a bunch of renowned people came and spoke. And that was sort of in the winter. And then born was the Mayhem. Our first pro event was with IFPA, and the top 5 were Philip Ricardo Jr., Kiyoshi Moody, Cleveland Thomas, Panics Pierre, and Moji. That was the top 5. And
that was insane.
I look back at like when I'm trying to find stuff to post on the page, like I'll go back through like your guys' Facebook page or like Brett's Facebook page and stuff, and I'll just come across these athletes, and it's just like, I don't want to say the standard's worse, because I don't know if that's the case, but just like the number of quality athletes that seem to be around back then, like there's still a ton of, and bodybuilders, right? Like there's great athletes currently, but the volume of not only just great athletes, but outstanding athletes. I mean, when you have a top 5 that could crush a world championship at like just any old pro show, like that's insane.
Yeah, that lineup was awesome. It was, Moji came from winning, the USA and the NPC. Yeah. I don't know, a couple times, a few times. Yeah. And I'll never forget, just some things you just really never forget. First of all, Rodney Hilaire is the one that beat him. We got Rodney's application, I think the day before it ended, or on the same day that it ended. And I was like, who's this dude in Jersey? He's obviously coming out here to win.
Military.
He's going to come out here to win, right? Like that's what's probably going to happen. And so when they're on stage, when we read the results, Moji's the first thing he did was he was like, what? Like looked at this dude like
2000
out of nowhere.
2003.
And Rodney was, massive, arms.
Rodney Big Guns Hilaire, right?
Yeah, Rodney Guns. So anyway, that was one of the really incredible moments. But yeah, that top 5 in the IFPA that year was,
and we were
pretty historic, actually.
We were known for having people be on stage a really long time, because here in California, the NPC shows before Bikini and Physique even, they were 500-600 people, and you were on stage with someone else, or you were there for 5 seconds. And so we did a real long drawn out prejudging, and our head judge, Wade Brown, sort of loved to torture people. And that group of pro men
not
were up there
but
a little bit. That group was up there for 45 minutes, and Cleveland was not happy. He was actually very upset with me.
He
wasn't conditioned for that. Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any other names, but there was a couple prima donnas that just thought they were, everything. And really, I mean, Wade was, he kind of took on the role as Steve Downs used to, the former president of the WNBF, who had judged most of the pro shows. And with so many good people, Steve would just, front relax, and he would sit back, and the judges would just look, because you have to, like, you can't, even if there's just 5 or 6 or 7 guys up there of that quality that year, that that top 5 that we just talked about, you can't just rush through it. You can't. It's not fair. Those guys were up there.
And when there was
I think a good 40 minutes, almost 50 minutes.
It was 45 minutes.
But
when there was only bodybuilding too, like the world championships that I competed in, there was 22 women. We were out there for an hour. There wasn't anything else to do. That was it. So you had to have a show, really, is what it was.
Yeah,
do you think there's too many divisions? I'm just going to start asking random questions now. Like, hearing that, do you think that
so the first
the sport's
year
watered down in a sense if you're not getting
okay, but I mean, she I know exactly what she's going to say.
The first year that we were supposed to do figure, and I just said no, not doing it.
Yeah, we were
no
just
heels, and it you know how figure came about. It came from fitness. And so we had been to NPC shows where they were gymnasts, they were using steroids and they were gymnasts. And so that excluded a lot of people. So figure was just a way to, not do the routine. I got it. But we put that off a year. We did not have bikini and physique until 2015. We wanted to be pure bodybuilding.
It wasn't because we didn't like the classes. It was not that, or the categories. It wasn't that at all. It was just, we just wanted to stick to the roots of the sport and not on it. And then of course we had to, and
it helps. It does help. We're educators. We both work, we have real full-time jobs. We work in a school district. And so before, we became parents, we spent a lot of time talking to high school teams, PE classes, weight training classes, about the dangers of steroids. And within that, we met a lot of young people who had the wrong ideas. Women think, oh, if I lift a weight, I'm going to get humongous. Wrong. I have to starve myself to change my body. Wrong. Boys thinking that they're just going to get huge overnight. Wrong. So we did some educating, and with the more lightly muscled categories, bikini and physique, you get younger people in there, which is a good thing, because lifting weights and nutrition is good for your health. And one day you're going to be 55 like us, and hopefully you're still, able to move some weight around or, be healthy. And so those categories help in that context, especially women, to lift weights. So for those reasons, it's good. We are not doing any more categories. We're not doing wellness. We don't even do classic, because it takes away from bodybuilding. So
we get some requests for those, but it just, for us, that, we're just not as big as the other non-test organization. There's just no reason to split it up. It's just it's going to kill bodybuilding. Just like figure really did hurt women's bodybuilding, and bikini did hurt figure as well. So not that we don't support those categories, but to add something else, we just don't feel like we need it. I've been hashtagging natural bodybuilding as classic physique for 10 years now. So, we're going to stick with what we have.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that when I first started as a classic physique competitor, same as Dan. And what I found was, if you look at some of the top classic physique guys, I can't name a single high-level classic physique competitor that could not do well in a bodybuilding class if they simply got leaner, for the most part. Some of them are lean enough, probably. What I have found, though, is the reverse to be true, where there are some bodybuilders that just simply don't really match the classic physique criteria. So it's just an interesting relationship that I noticed. And I think I'm probably one of them, where I started out in classic physique, but now that I've watched and learned and seen who's doing well there, I just don't have the build for that, but I can get relatively lean. I have the symmetry. So I honestly think more people fit or would do well in bodybuilding if they just took the time to get to the level of conditioning that's expected now.
Yeah.
I did both this season, right? Like I'm kind of an example of maybe someone that could do both, right? But, it depends on the federation that's got it offered. I'll always do bodybuilding, but if classic's there and I have the opportunity, sure, I'll jump in. Like I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and they were like, what's the biggest difference? And I was like, the size of your rib cage. I was like, if you're natural, that honestly seems to be the biggest thing. If you've got like good arms, more often than not, like a small waist, but then you have this fat rib cage, you're classic. But at the end of the day, we're all bodybuilders, right? Like there's a very small difference in the natural bodybuilding and classic versus, C-Bum and Ramy, right? That's a clear difference.
We want the clear difference to be bodybuilding and men's physique too, though. And that gets muddy if you have something in the middle.
Yeah. And if we instituted classic physique, sorry, we live on a golf course, or golf carts going by all the time. But if we implemented classic physique, you'd have people winning both, and it would just be annoying, and it would upset people,
for sure.
And it would be muddy. And so, we're going to stick with what we have. And
we don't want our men's physique to look like bodybuilders. We don't.
Yeah. We work hard to really control, to control what happens at our shows in terms of, the categories and what's represented in those categories.
And to step out of the mayhem a little bit, as owners of the WNBF, we answer to now 40 different international countries. And so they have their own ideas. East Asia, there's some great bodybuilders and some great physique guys definitely over there. Women, not so much. So, we have those battles that we have to deal with. And so adding more categories is not going to make that any easier or cleaner. So
The WNBF UK, they had like a classic side asterisks at their show, did they not?
There's a few
There's some,
organizations that
Israel does it, yeah.
that are doing it, and it's just we're just obviously there's no pro cards for that, but a lot of the organizations that exist internationally just have asked to implement that category to be competitive with other organizations.
Yeah.
So we've allowed it, but here,
So
It's
from
like
from a qualification standpoint, it's meaningless, correct?
It's
Exactly.
meaningless.
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay.
model category or a transformation. We're
Sure.
not doing any wings. We're not doing angels.
uh,
Can I swear on here?
no,
No,
don't,
no,
don't.
Yeah,
we're
you
not
swear
doing
all
any
you
of
want.
that. We're not doing
I do all the time.
Yeah, well, if we were going to swear, I'd have some choice words. We won't do that. But
We'll skip
yeah,
over that one. Yeah.
so gosh, more about the mayhem.
It's kind of a reunion. It's really fun.
It is,
When
it
people,
is.
when people come, they have their GoPros because you don't know who you're going to see. And the backstage area is grass. And so there's pop-ups. It's like a track meet. People, are hanging out all day. That part is fun. That is definitely ingrained that there's a lot of people happy to see one another. And this time it's been 3 years. So
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's definitely got the competitive event, and I get messages all the time, gosh, I'm not ready for that show. It's, probably gonna take me 5 years. Guys, don't do that. Come and compete, hop in the novice categories, have fun, come and, I mean, we're really, really, proud and lucky to have so many supporters, big names in the industry that come and have teams just come to hang out and network and stuff. But yeah, we definitely kind of create a little bit of a problem with ourselves because it seems hardcore and competitive and people are a little afraid of that. But I say just throw your trunks on and come and have a good time. It's fun.
I'm hoping to go ace out of retirement next time I compete and fight him off at the Mayhem. I think that'd be
Throw on those pro trunks and get on the stage.
he's
the best.
not retired. I don't buy it.
Who?
I don't either, but I'll get him out of it if he is.
Yeah.
I still have a message from him saved on my phone that he would love to share the stage with me one day. So Ace Baldwin.
Yeah, well,
there.
Make some social post about, hey, come out of retirement just for 1 year. Let's have one crazy show.
Let's go.
We're definitely proud of our lighting. Our lighting is the best. It's unbelievable.
That is 100% true.
There's a lot of great things about our show. It's at a really great high school that I teach at. But yeah, I was going to show some. I don't know if I can share my screen here. I wanted to maybe show you guys a few. You should be able to hit that small arrow up on the share screen, and then there you go. Are you guys okay if I show you this? I just want to go over some notable people.
Sure. Educate the viewers.
Yeah, and if anybody's watching and I forgot your name, I apologize. I just kind of did this really, really quickly, but we have had some really notable winners here that we're really, really proud of. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to be this one.
Yep.
They're just, it's alphabetical. It's not, the top, the best on top, anything like that. Obviously, Jeff has been huge. The 3D Muscle Journey guys have been great for the sport. Really, good friends of ours.
Brian, you said Jeff was at the original, right?
Yeah.
99. Yep.
Yeah, Jeff's, his frustration, it was on his face when he showed up for his polygraph to check in, and we got to know him a little bit, and he just said, I'm frustrated. I've been doing this for several years. I never cracked, I can never win my class. I'll crack the top 3 or 4 maybe. And I just said, hey, this is the place, for you. I don't think he didn't win his first event.
Actually, he got second a couple times, and we just finally said, go to Washington. It's in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he did, and he won.
Yeah.
Chrissy did that too. Chrissy Zimjuski.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys probably don't know who she is, but yeah.
World champion.
I have a couple amateurs on here. Brian DaCosta. Gosh, Brian, if he watches this, I don't know if I spelled his name right. Hopefully that's right.
Yeah, that looks right.
Edna obviously is a former world champion.
Edna's an animal. For those that don't know who Edna is, she's the strongest woman I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I got a couple spelling errors. Sorry, Kiyoshi. We talked about Rodney a little bit. Nsima, he's a beast. He's doing a lot of great things on YouTube right now. But
we had him on there a while ago. He's cool, dude.
He is. He's a good guy. Misha, I don't know if you guys know who Misha is, from Switzerland. Won our Mayhem.
I do. Yeah.
17 maybe.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Didn't have a chance to compete as a pro. Marshall Johnson, competed for a really long time. Marshall is a super good human being, good guy, great upper body. Joshua Kenyon, just another amateur. I just wanted
Josh.
He was a kid. His mom was at check-in chatting with me for a couple hours. He was 19, nervous.
But
kid.
some of these guys are still.
That sounds like that would be Josh's mom. Just in our conversations with Josh, I feel like his mom is like, "That's my boy."
Yep,
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah, I just wanted to give them a shout out because they've been not only supportive to our event but to the organization. Most of the people on here are really solid with the WNBF. Just a quick story on Joshua. When they came to check in, we had a bunch of WNBF apparel that was for sale. There was a WNBF pro jacket, and she said, "Hey, what do you think about me grabbing this for him? He's really excited. He's really confident." And I said, "Don't do that yet. Just let that jacket, be."
Gotta earn that jacket.
Yeah, let him earn it. And she came up to me actually after the overall, and she goes, "Did you know what was going to happen?" I said, "Well, of course I don't know what's going to happen. We don't have rig shows." But I just said, we kind of know who's coming and what usually, the outcome might be. So anyway, it was just a really great story. But obviously, he is going to be an incredible pro, probably very soon when he decides to. I don't see him not winning, the next time he competes. You guys know Bada. He, Bada's had a long career in natural bodybuilding. He finally won a world championships with us. He really deserved it. He's been on the Mayhem stage several times. Arlene is maybe someone that you guys don't know. She's a figure world champion. She judges for us still. So a lot of these guys are really involved with us. Sorry, Kiyoshi. You guys know Kiyoshi. Really good guy. Fellow Steeler fan. Go Steelers. Had to mention Jeff. Jeff's been a huge influencer. Came and won on our stage. We off-season tested him on the spot. You guys probably saw that video at some point. We're always proud to do that, unannounced. Do you guys know Chris Zabuga? Does that name sound familiar?
No.
From the UK. So he was in Yorton Cup,
incredible.
IPA, stuff like that.
6'3", 240 on stage. He's a beast, and one of the most nicest men you've ever met in your entire life. Really, really good guy. You guys know Alberto, obviously won his pro card on our stage. Alberto, out of all the 3DMJ guys, the only one to win on our stage. That's a tough one. That's a really a tough place to win. Definitely got to give Matt a shout out because he's been supportive towards the WNBF. Sam Okanola, he's won on our stage. I don't know if Sam's retired now or not.
He doesn't look like it.
He may have hung stuff up, but he's still hanging in there. He's got a new little one.
He says he's retired.
He said he retired, and then he did a show
he did a show 3 months ago or something like that, out of nowhere.
Look retired to me, but
yeah, we talked about Moji. Moji's an awesome trainer. Also got super deep knowledge on personal training and stuff. Really amazing guy. Super good bodybuilder. One of the most symmetrical guys I've ever seen. He's really incredible. Patricia Payne, another name you guys may not know. She was, probably one of the best women bodybuilders of all time. She's very, very symmetrical, very muscular. A gymnast, does great routines on stage. She won here. And then we talked about Panix. I don't know. There may be a misspelling on his name, but Panix is with the IFBB. I don't know if he still competes anymore. And then Philip, Kendall Richmond, probably the most gifted guy to be on our stage. I would say would be, at his age, let's just say at his age, definitely one of the most gifted guys that have been on the Mayhem stage, and won his pro card there and then won the pro show. And then Kathy, Tina and Kathy go back competing in the WBF. Katie Wayman White, who you guys know is still a judge with us, went on our stage. I don't know.
she won the first pro in 2010, and then actually she competed here. This is a good story. She competed here in 1999 or 2000, and we used to have a bench press contest. You have to bench your body weight.
I forgot about that.
And there were all these power lifters at Gold's Gym, and they would be like, I'm going to win that this year. We'd give out a big trophy and a bag of supplements and stuff. And all these clowns, would be like, I'm going to win that. And sure enough, Katie walks up at 128 and rips that out 29 times. And all these guys go, geez.
You guys, she's pecs for arm. I mean, she's pecs and arms for days. I mean, still, when she's kind of hanging out, just scoring, you're just, man, like, just got deep arms, but she's still doing well. And then Chrissy's a world champion as well, figure. Moved away, so she's not judging for us anymore. But yeah, man, lots of really, huge names that have been on the Mayhem stage, man. They're just really, really good people, sound people.
What I think the most important thing from that whole list, right? Like we recognized a lot of them, obviously, but I think even people that aren't as well knowledged in the sport will recognize quite a few of those names. I mean, that is legends of multiple generations, and they all went to your stage, won on your stage, and then continued on in the sport to a very high level, right? So it's not like these guys are coming onto the stage, winning one show, and then walking away, and who are they? They're gone, right? Like it's almost like a pilgrimage, right? Like when I think of the top 2 shows, well, 3 if you include Worlds, right? But disregard Worlds, I think of the Herc and I think of your show out there, right? Like those are the 2 that everyone knows. If you want to compete with the best, you go to those 2 shows. And that's just how it's been for I don't know how long.
Thank you.
We've had a few guys that have come and won and didn't do anything. Life changes, you have kids, you get injured, whatever it is, you change, directions. But some really competitive people have been on the stage. Yeah.
Bikini and physique is different. We just have a bodybuilder reputation. We just do because
That's good though, because you never.
I don't mind, but
no, you don't see that, right? Like the fact that you guys can maintain that, I'll just use the word purity for lack of a better word, but that purity of like this is a bodybuilding show full of bodybuilders, right? Like there's nothing worse. I mean, we've all been to shows where it's the bodybuilding class is the smallest class. Like I've been to shows where they can't even do an overall because they only have one weight class. There's 2 or 3 middleweights, and then they can't do an overall, and then people get pissed. But
hey, and I think it was 18 or 19, you guys. We almost didn't get out a pro card. If we would have lost one guy to just drop out or a polygraph failure, for us to not have
for sure
a pro card would have been, just. It's a different time, and we're not knocking physique and bikini.
No, and
we're not doing that.
The ones that have won here in bikini and physique have been from other places, so it doesn't sort of stay. Like they don't stay on our judging panel. Chad Pilat is the one that lost a couple of times and then won at Worlds. But Breton from Nova Scotia, he won. He's not from here. We've had a lot of
Canadian.
Yeah, way out with Jeff. But
other Canadians,
a lot of them haven't been from here, so it's hard to get it. Sam Roldan is probably the most known bikini in LA that judges for us, but it's a bodybuilder day Saturday, which that's what it is.
We've had a few Canadians on the stage. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but we used to have some teams that would show up.
Yeah, you've had Jeff, obviously, Breton, Pat there.
Yep, Patty's been here.
Yep.
Oh, Patty won here. Yeah, he should be on that list. There's a physique.
Yeah,
right
Patrick
there.
should be on there. Yeah. But now he's kind of crossing into bodybuilding, so I'm not sure what he's doing.
Us Canadian boys, you gotta watch out. We get that maple syrup in us, it's game over.
He won his pro card in Canada. That's where he won.
The maple syrup.
That's right. Maple syrup and what else?
You guys are our next door neighbors, so we've always been close to.
Very cool. So, I guess maybe kind of closing thoughts on this, like. The Mayhem, is that kind of your big event? Like if someone's gonna compete as an amateur, like the Mayhem's place to go.
I mean, if you want to make a statement, and everybody who's won on our stage, I mean, I would say I'm not going to mention names. There's a couple that would not be competitive in the pros, or if they just jumped on a world stage. But most of the people that win the open categories here land on their feet, place in the top 3, top 5 at Worlds. They're really pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a pro-am too, right?
Yeah, I would say just for this time, there's still COVID hangover in California in a lot of places. And so what we're seeing as WNBF owners is many shows are just not as large as they were. People get it, they can't go to the gym, whatever happens. So there's some of that. And within the last 2 years, we had really built up a very strong base of events in California. We had Hollywood, San Diego, Battle of the Bay is in the fall, but some of that has kind of been torn down. We're the first event this year. My friend Terry Reeves is in Fresno in August, and there's several in Washington. There's one in Oregon, Aaron Orton the week after ours, but bear with us if you're thinking about competing, because next year and thereafter, we will be building up some of the other qualifying shows in California and maybe moving Mayhem out a little bit later in the year. again, we're school employees, so July is great. We don't have to go to work, but so just bear with us. There will be additional shows happening in California for everybody who's staying on our natural platform.
Yeah, and just for the WNBF perspective, just if you're thinking about competing with us, we know it's competitive. I know the focus is on pro cards. We're really trying not to focus on that. I mean, I wanted a pro card after the second time I competed. So I get it. But give the WNBF a chance. Give the INBF a chance. Maybe step outside your comfort zone with maybe a smaller organization that you're with, and give our shows a shot. I think you'll enjoy them. They're really well done. The promoters care about athletes. It's not always a money grab for us. Most of the promoters, the owners, we all have regular full-time jobs. So, it's we approach promoting and owning the WNBF a little bit differently than other people might with other organizations. So, yeah, give the INBF a shot in your state, and we're still trying to work on expanding and coming to Pittsburgh in 20. Maybe we'll make it happen next year. I might talk you guys into it.
No,
But that might be a little bit stretched.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So if anybody has questions about the show and stuff, where are they best to reach you guys?
They can go to our website, naturalmusclemayhem.com. We'll probably be live streaming through Instagram at WNBF Official or through our WNBF YouTube channel. So
cool.
Keep an eye on both of those. And that's it, 9:30 start time on Saturday.
Amazing.
All
Amazing.
right.
We'll be watching very
We'll be
closely.
tuned in, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for coming on. I'm glad we can make this work.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
No
you.
problem at all. If you guys enjoyed this episode with Bob and Tina, let us know. Give the video a like. And if you guys have questions directly for them, obviously you guys can reach them there. Or if you have stuff that you want to ask us on the Natty News page that we can forward to them, we'd be more than happy to do that. So thank you guys again for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like, subscribe for future ones, and we'll see you guys in the next one.